Heartland fans, brace yourselves because the moment we've all been waiting for is finally here. Borden is back. Yes, Ty, the heart and soul of Heartland, has returned to the ranch, igniting a wave of joy, tears, and bittersweet memories. But this homecoming is far from simple. As Ty steps back into the world he left behind, he's met with the warmth of old bonds and the ache of everything that's changed. Reuniting with Amy stirs powerful emotions, love that never truly faded, and pain that never fully healed. But after all the years, can two hearts broken by time find their way back to each other? And can Ty reclaim the life that once defined him, or has Heartland moved on without him? In this episode, we dive deep into Ty's emotional return, a journey of love, loyalty, healing, and rediscovery. As the ranch comes alive with familiar faces and unexpected truths, Ty must confront not only the ghosts of his past, but the new realities of a life that kept moving even when he was gone. In his absence, Amy has developed close friendships with Caleb and Nathan, which leaves Ty feeling a pang of jealousy. While he understands that Amy still cares deeply for him, seeing her grow close to both men is difficult. This isn't just about jealousy, it's a moment of reckoning as he confronts the impact his absence has had on his family and friends. With Caleb and Nathan stepping into roles he once filled, Ty finds himself navigating a complex mix of emotions he wasn't prepared for. This episode delves deeply into Ty's subtle inner conflict as he wrestles with disruptive emotions that challenge his sense of identity and place. Ty Borden has always been a rock-strong, steady, and fiercely loyal. A man whose quiet strength spoke louder than words. But now, as he settles back into the rhythm of Heartland, he's met with a subtle shift in the world he once knew so well. Something feels off. Not wrong exactly, but different. And at the center of that difference is Amy. More specifically, the presence of Caleb and Nathan, two men who, in Ty's absence, have grown closer to her in ways he never anticipated. At first, Ty tries to dismiss it as nothing more than a passing observation. But as the days go on, that quiet unease starts to settle deeper in his chest. It isn't jealousy, not in the typical sense. It's something far more painful. It's the realization that time hasn't stood still in his absence. Life at Heartland moved forward, and Amy, like everyone else, had to keep living, had to find comfort, support, and familiarity where she could. And in doing so, she formed bonds that Ty was no longer a part of. Watching Amy laugh freely with Caleb, seeing the way she confides in Nathan without hesitation, it shakes Ty in ways he didn't expect. Caleb has always been her friend, someone he once trusted without hesitation. But now that dynamic feels layered with something more. Caleb's easy charm and long-standing connection to Amy make Ty question just how much has changed between them. And then there's Nathan, calm, dependable, always just a step behind Amy, offering support without needing to be asked. Ty can't help but notice how seamlessly Nathan fits into her world, like he belongs there. As much as Ty tries to feel joy in Amy's happiness, there's an ache he can't ignore. It's not just that others have stepped into roles he once held, it's that Amy let them. Not out of betrayal, but out of necessity, out of survival. And now, Ty finds himself grappling with a question he never thought he'd have to ask. Where does he fit in Amy's life now? His return was meant to be a beautiful reunion, a long-awaited moment of healing. And for a time, it was. But the initial glow is fading, revealing a far more complex reality, one where Ty isn't automatically at the center of Amy's world anymore. He's no longer the only one who knows her favorite trail ride, the way she takes her coffee, or the unspoken signals in her eyes. Caleb and Nathan have picked up those pieces, not out of competition, but out of care. And Ty, once so confident in his place beside her, now feels like a stranger looking in through a window he used to call home. This growing disconnection chips away at his sense of belonging. Ty's always believed that love could withstand anything. But what if love isn't the only thing that defines a relationship? What if presence, shared memories, and the comfort of everyday routines matter just as much? It's a heartbreaking realization that the life he fought so hard to return to may have evolved without him. And no matter how deep his love for Amy runs, he can't erase the time he lost or the space that was filled in his absence. Now, as he stands in the very place he once called home, Ty is left wondering, can he rebuild what was lost, or has the heart of Heartland already taken on a new shape without him? Each time he sees Caleb and Nathan sharing those little moments with Amy, he feels the ache of something he's not quite ready to admit. It's a complex feeling, both unsettling and unexpected, making him question where he truly stands with Amy and whether he can genuinely pick up where he left off. Ty's growing anxiety becomes most apparent when he sees Amy and Caleb working together on the farm. Caleb has always been there for her Amy during Ty's absence, steps in as a strong companion and partner. Watching their connection unfold so effortlessly compels Ty to realize just how much a part of Amy's daily life Caleb has become. Caleb seems to understand her in ways Ty once did, and despite Ty's efforts to dismiss these feelings, they linger, breeding uncertainty within him. It's not that Ty questions Amy's loyalty, but rather the undeniable reality that Caleb has consistently played a strong role in her life, something Ty finds hard to ignore. He begins to wonder, there are parts of Amy's world that Caleb now understands better, moments Ty wasn't there to witness. Nathan, too, has become a steady presence in Amy's life. Although his role differs from Caleb's, the quiet strength of their friendship is something Ty can't overlook. Nathan has proven to be a solid friend, one who supports Amy in ways Ty is still trying to comprehend. Ty sees that Amy has come to trust Nathan deeply. He notices how Nathan seems to understand facets of Amy's life that are unfamiliar to him, memories and moments Ty wasn't present to share. This realization is painful. As he watches Amy laugh and talk so easily with Nathan, Ty feels a sharp sense of detachment, like a stranger in a life he once knew so well. With time, these observations build up, and Ty becomes acutely aware of the growing distance between himself and Amy. The milestones and everyday struggles he missed have now become part of Amy's past stories that Caleb and Nathan have witnessed and contributed to. It serves as a painful reminder of the time he lost, leaving him feeling out of sync with her life. These quiet reflections stir questions in Ty's heart. Will he ever truly catch up? Can he reclaim the closeness he once had with Amy? The weight of this thought casts a shadow over the joy of being home. It's more than jealousy. It's rooted in Ty's fear of losing the deep connection he's always treasured with Amy. As he continues to observe her relationships with Caleb and Nathan, he begins to understand just how deeply woven these friendships are into her life. Ty and Caleb share more than just a working relationship. They share a brotherhood forged through years of sweat, struggle, and quiet understanding on the ranch. They've ridden side by side, weathered storms, and held each other up through Heartland's darkest days. Caleb has always been a friend Ty could count on, loyal, hardworking, and deeply rooted in the same values they both hold dear. But now, something about that friendship feels different. Ty watches as Caleb and Amy move together with a kind of ease that's almost poetic, two people who understand each other without the need for words. Where Ty once felt reassured by Caleb's loyalty, he now feels something far more unsettling: distance. Not between himself and Caleb, but between himself and Amy. It's in the way Caleb instinctively knows when Amy needs help without her asking, the way they finish each other's sentences, laugh at memories Ty wasn't a part of, and share silent glances that carry the weight of years spent side by side while Ty was gone. Ty had always imagined that his return would mean picking up where they left off, that the love he and Amy shared would be untouched by time. But reality has carved a different path. Now, He wonders if Caleb didn't just support Amy during difficult times he became her rock, her confidant, maybe even her safe place. And though Ty doesn't believe Amy ever stopped loving him, the closeness she shares with Caleb speaks volumes about the spaces he left behind and who filled them. It's not betrayal, it's time. And it's the cruel way time keeps moving, even when hearts are standing still. Then there's Nathan. Unlike Caleb, Nathan doesn't share a long history with Amy, but that doesn't make their bond any less meaningful. In many ways, it's the freshness of their connection that unsettles to the most. Nathan brings something new into Amy's world, a quiet, steady presence that doesn't try to compete with the past. He simply is. He listens. He understands, sends, and he offers a kind of emotional stability that Ty, in his absence, couldn't provide. Ty sees how Nathan has carved a place for himself not just in Amy's routine, but in her sense of peace. The way she smiles around him not because of shared history, but because of shared comfort cuts deeper than Ty expected. It makes him question if the emotional intimacy he once had with Amy has been quietly replaced by these new connections. Not all at once, but slowly, softly, moment by moment. Ty begins to feel as though he's watching Amy's life from the outside, a spectator to a chapter he wasn't part of. Every shared joke between Amy and Caleb, every moment of quiet understanding between her and Nathan, is a reminder of what he missed. The grand milestones, yes, but more painfully, the small, quiet moments, the ones that build trust, the ones that build love. What hurts most isn't the thought that Amy moved on. It's the fear that maybe, in some ways, she had to, that she found comfort elsewhere when he couldn't be there. And Ty, who has always worn strength like a second skin, suddenly finds himself exposed in a way he never anticipated. Vulnerable, uncertain, shaken. The jealousy creeping in isn't loud or explosive. It's quiet, restrained, almost ashamed of itself. But it lingers, gnawing at him as he starts to wonder whether he can ever truly reclaim his place by Amy's side. Not just as her partner, but as her person. The one who knows her soul in a way no one else can. Because now, for the first time, Ty is forced to ask himself a question that terrifies him to his core. What if Amy didn't wait for him, not out of choice, but because life didn't let her? What if, in the time he was gone, she found the pieces of support she needed in Caleb, in Nathan, and built a new foundation without him? That question haunts him. And as Ty navigates the bittersweet beauty of being home again, he must confront the deepest challenge of all, finding his place in a world that didn't stop turning while he was gone. These feelings prompt him to question not only his place in Amy's life, but also his role within his family and even at Heartland itself. This internal struggle transforms into a battle. Ty has always defined his relationship with Amy through a deep sense of love and loyalty. He attempts to rationalize his emotions, convincing himself that Caleb and Nathan merely filled the gaps during his absence, that they are just friends supporting Amy in ways he couldn't. Yet, a lingering uncertainty casts a shadow over his thoughts, leading him to replay memories of their shared past and question whether those bonds can ever be fully restored. Ty begins to fear that his absence has left an unfillable void, one that Caleb and Nathan now occupy. He feels his place beside Amy may not be as secure as he once believed. This thought troubles him, making it difficult to focus on anything else. The emotional weight of these feelings starts to affect T's everyday life. He finds himself short with those around him, trying to mask his frustration. Where he was once patient and calm, he now feels overwhelmed by a mix of jealousy and regret, feelings he's unfamiliar with. Facing this envy isn't about distrust. It's rooted in his own insecurities, a fear that he may never truly regain the position he once held in Amy's life. As these feelings unfold, they reveal a side of him he doesn't fully recognize, leaving him uneasy with himself. Ty starts to worry that these uncertainties could damage not only his relationship with Amy, but also strain his bonds with Caleb and Nathan, people who have become essential to the Heartland family. In quiet moments, his mind drifts to all the what-ifs. He wonders how things might have been different if he hadn't been away, if he had been there during Amy's most difficult times. These thoughts weigh heavily on him, deepening his sense of disappointment. Ty's heart aches with the realization that he can't fix the past or undo what has happened. Confronted with this truth, he begins to question whether he has the strength to rebuild what he once had with Amy, or if he will always feel like a stranger in his own life. As Ty's internal conflict intensifies, he becomes increasingly aware that he must face his emotions before they consume him. The growing tension between him, Caleb, and Nathan eventually reaches a breaking point. Ty has been bottling up his feelings, trying to keep his doubts to himself, but with each passing day, it becomes harder to hide how he truly feels. He feels confused and dismissed, unable to shake the sense that his place in Amy's life isn't as secure as it once seemed. That tension finally boils over when Ty sees Caleb and Amy working closely together, laughing, sharing a connection that he believes should belong to him. In a moment of intense frustration, Ty decides to confront Caleb. His words come out harsher than he intended, as his emotions finally overflow. Caleb, for overstepping boundaries and getting too close to Amy, is surprised when his role in her life is questioned. Caleb defends himself, explaining that he has only been there for Amy as a companion, filling the void while Ty was away. However, Ty's jealousy clouds his judgment, making it difficult for him to see Caleb's intentions as genuine. This confrontation leaves both men hurt and misunderstood, with Caleb struggling to understand why Ty would accuse him of something he would never do. The tension affects not only Ty and Caleb's friendship, but also the overall atmosphere at Heartland. Sensing the hostility, Amy steps in, trying to calm Ty and explain the importance of her friendship with Caleb. She reminds Ty of how Caleb supported her through tough times, emphasizing the need for trust and understanding in their relationship. As Amy explains how both Caleb and Nathan have helped her through difficult moments, Ty feels even more conflicted. Despite Caleb's good intentions, Ty's absence left a void that others naturally stepped in to fill. Ty's jealousy also begins to impact his relationship with Nathan. Although Nathan has never tried to come between Ty and Amy, Ty can't help but feel threatened by the quiet bond Nathan shares with her. As his frustration builds, it leads to an awkward and tense conversation with Nathan. Sensing Ty's jealousy, Nathan tries to reassure him, emphasizing that his friendship with Amy is purely platonic. But Ty's insecurities run deep, making it hard for him to fully trust Nathan's words. For Ty, the conflict isn't really about Nathan. It's about the role Nathan has played in Amy's life, a role he wishes he could have filled himself. This internal struggle leaves Ty feeling lost and questioning his own worth. He realizes that his jealousy is starting to push people away, including Amy. The confrontations with Caleb and Nathan serve as a wake-up call, forcing Ty to face the fact that his insecurities are damaging the very relationships he holds dear. Following these emotional exchanges, Ty begins to understand the impact of his actions. The jealousy that once clouded his mind becomes clearer, revealing that his emotions stem from deep-seated insecurities rather than any wrongdoing on Caleb or Nathan's part. Ty finally begins to see what he's been avoiding all along, the truth that his absence left more than just a physical void in Amy's life. It left an emotional one, too. And though no one ever tried to take his place, others stepped in out of necessity, out of love, and out of loyalty to Amy. Caleb and Nathan weren't trying to replace him, they were trying to support her. And that realization hits Ty with a quiet but powerful wave of humility. For so long, he had been caught in the storm of his own insecurities, trapped in silent questions about where he belonged and whether there was still space for him in the life he once called his own. But now, as he reflects on the emotional distance that's crept in, he begins to understand something deeper. This was never truly about Caleb or Nathan. It was about him. His fear, his guilt, his need to feel needed again. In a rare moment of clarity, Ty understands that to rebuild what he had with Amy, to truly reconnect on the level they once shared, he must face the hard truths within himself. He has to stop hiding behind quiet resentment and start being vulnerable. The longer he bottles up these feelings, the more space he creates between himself and those he loves. And he's done losing time. So, with his heart pounding and uncertainty still flickering in his chest, Ty chooses honesty. He finds Amy alone in the barn, the same place where so many of their memories live, and asks if they can talk. This time, really talk. As they sit on a hay bale in the soft golden light of late afternoon, Ty opens up. His voice is steady, but his words are raw. He confesses to feeling displaced, lost in a world that continued spinning without him. He speaks about the jealousy he's been too ashamed to admit how seeing Amy laugh with Caleb or talk quietly with Nathan made him question his place in her heart. Not because he didn't trust her, but because he no longer trusted himself. Amy listens in silence, her eyes filled with understanding. She doesn't interrupt. She lets him speak his truth. And when he finishes, she reaches for his hand and holds it tightly. What she says next melts every fear he'd been harboring. She tells him that, yes, Caleb and Nathan were there. They helped. They showed up when she needed someone. But they were never him. There's a piece of her soul that only Ty occupies, and no one could ever replace that. Not in this lifetime. Not in any. To Amy, Ty's return is more than just a homecoming. It's the restoration of something sacred. The comfort of his presence, the weight of his love, the way he sees her without her having to speak, it's irreplaceable. Caleb and Nathan may have offered companionship, but Ty has always been her anchor. Her heart has never strayed. That moment of emotional honesty changes everything. Ty feels a release, as though the weight of months, maybe years, has finally lifted off his shoulders. For the first time since he returned, he feels seen, heard, understood. And more than anything, he feels loved. Not for what he was, but for who he is now. With this new understanding, Ty reaches out not only to Amy, but to Caleb and Nathan as well. He finds them separately, away from the others, and offers a quiet but heartfelt apology. He admits to letting his insecurities cloud his judgment and explains the depth of his emotional struggle. It's not easy, but it's necessary. Both men receive his words with grace. Caleb, ever the brother in arms, claps Ty on the shoulder and reminds him that loyalty runs both ways. Nathan, calm and grounded, simply nods and says, "You were never replaced, Ty. We were just keeping the fire warm until you found your way back." In that moment, a new kind of respect is born between them, not one based on rivalry, but on shared love for the same family. And as Ty stands surrounded by the people he once feared he'd lost, he realizes something beautiful. Reclaiming his place isn't about going back. It's about moving forward together. With this resolution, Ty finds himself ready to fully embrace his life at Heartland, no longer burdened by the fear of being replaced. Instead, he feels grateful for the support Caleb and Nathan offered, allowing him to move forward with a heart free from doubt. Ultimately, Ty's journey through jealousy and vulnerability becomes a testament to his growth both as a person and as a partner to Amy. Through struggles, confrontations, and heartfelt conversations, he learns that love and trust are built on openness and understanding. He realizes that expressing even difficult emotions is essential to the strength of his relationship with Amy. This chapter of Ty's life allows him to shed the burdens of the past, emerging with a deeper understanding of himself and of the people who stood by Amy's side during his absence. As he moves forward, Ty feels more grateful than ever for the friendships Caleb and Nathan provided not just to Amy, but to him as well. He now understands that Heartland is more than just a place. It is a family of individuals who support one another through life's ups and downs. The jealousy he once felt transforms into respect and appreciation for the roles Caleb and Nathan played in keeping Amy strong. Rather than viewing them as threats, Ty now sees them as valued friends who helped hold the family together when he couldn't be there. His journey serves as a reminder that relationships evolve and grow, and that the most meaningful connections can endure even the toughest challenges. As he and Amy look toward the future, they do so with a renewed commitment to one another, grounded in honesty and trust. Ty is no longer burdened by the moments he missed or the bonds formed in his absence. Instead, he stands stronger, grounded in the unshakable love that still surrounds him at Heartland. The pain, the doubt, the jealousy, they've all given way to something more powerful: healing, forgiveness, and a deeper understanding of what it truly means to come home. And there you have it, Heartland fans. Ty's journey has come full circle, not just as a partner to Amy, but as a man willing to confront his deepest fears and rise above them. Through heartbreak and growth, he's discovered that family isn't defined by perfect timing, but by the courage to keep showing up with honesty, with vulnerability, and with love. Standing beside Amy now, their hearts aligned once more, Ty isn't just reclaiming his place, he's building something even stronger. This chapter is more than a return, it's a rebirth. And it reminds us all that the bonds of Heartland are unbreakable, no matter how much time has passed. Thank you so much for joining me on this emotional journey. Your support, your love for these characters, and your passion for Heartland are what keep these stories alive. If this touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share your favorite Ty and Amy moment. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay kind, stay strong, and never stop believing in the power of love, family, and second chances. This is Heartland, and the story isn't over yet.